The moment that changed my marriage started with a laugh. Not a joyful laugh. Not a nervous one. A mocking laugh. And it came from my husband. The church was quiet that Sunday morning when the pastor said something unusual. He paused in the middle of his sermon and slowly looked across the congregation, almost like he was searching for someone. Then he said, "Someone here is living a lie, and the truth is about to come out." The room went completely still. Moments like that make people uncomfortable. Some people look down. Some shift in their seats. Some pretend nothing happened. But my husband laughed. Not loud enough for everyone to hear, just loud enough for me. I turned and looked at him. Marcus had that same confident smile he always wore when he thought something was ridiculous. He leaned slightly toward me and whispered, "People say anything in church these days." I should have ignored it, but something about the way the pastor said those words made my stomach tighten. It felt specific. Too specific. The service moved on. The choir sang. People clapped. The pastor continued preaching. But my attention was no longer on the sermon. It was on my husband. Marcus sat beside me looking relaxed, almost bored. If someone had walked in at that moment, they would have seen a normal couple in church. But they wouldn't have known how strange things had been lately. Marcus had changed over the last few months. He stayed late at work, guarded his phone, started stepping outside to take calls. And every time I asked about it, he brushed it off. Just business. That was his answer for everything. Just business. I wanted to believe him. Marriage survives on trust. And trust sometimes means choosing peace instead of suspicion. But peace becomes difficult when small things start adding up. Then something strange happened. The pastor stopped speaking again. He looked toward the back of the church. His expression shifted slightly, like someone had just walked in. But when I turned to look, I didn't see anything unusual. Just people sitting quietly. Then the pastor said something else. And this time, my husband didn't laugh. The pastor said, "Whoever you are, the call is coming today." I felt Marcus shift beside me. Just slightly. The kind of movement you almost miss. But when you've been married long enough, you notice everything. A few minutes later, the service ended. People began greeting each other. Kids ran through the aisles. Friends gathered near the doors. Marcus stood up quickly. "Let's go," he said. His voice sounded tight. "Why are we rushing?" I asked. "I have a call to make." That answer again. Just business. We walked toward the parking lot together. But just as we stepped outside the church doors, Marcus's phone rang. He looked down at the screen. And for the first time in years, I saw real fear on his face. Not stress. Not irritation. Fear. "Who is it?" I asked. He didn't answer. The phone kept ringing. Marcus stared at it like it might explode. "Marcus?" He swallowed. Then he showed me the screen. The number had no name. Just 10 digits. But under the number were 3 words. Unknown caller. I frowned. "So?" Marcus slowly shook his head. "That's not what scares me." "What do you mean?" His voice dropped to a whisper. "That number belongs to someone who shouldn't be calling." My chest tightened. "Why not?" Marcus finally answered the call. He didn't put it on speaker, but I could hear the voice. It was a woman. Calm. Soft. Almost gentle. And the first thing she said made the air leave my lungs. "Marcus, you didn't think secrets stay buried forever, did you?" Marcus closed his eyes. "How did you get this number?" The woman laughed quietly. "You gave it to me." My stomach turned. Marcus walked away from me, pacing across the parking lot. "What do you want?" he asked. Her answer was simple. "You already know." Marcus ran a hand through his hair. "This is not the time." "Oh, it is exactly the time," she said. "Because the truth is about to reach your wife." My heart started pounding. Marcus looked back at me, and for the first time since we got married, he looked like a man who had been caught. The call ended suddenly. Silence filled the space between us. "Marcus," I said slowly. "Who is that?" He didn't answer immediately. Then he sighed. A long, exhausted sigh. "That," he said quietly, "is someone from my past." My mind raced. An old girlfriend. A business partner. Someone angry. But none of those felt right. "What does she want?" I asked. Marcus looked back at the church building. People were still walking out. Laughing. talking, completely unaware of the earthquake happening in our marriage. Finally he said, "She wants me to tell you the truth." My voice barely worked. "What truth?" Marcus stared at the ground for a long moment. Then he said something I never expected to hear. "I had a daughter before I met you." The world stopped. The noise of the parking lot faded. "You what?" Marcus nodded slowly. "It happened years ago, before we met." My heart raced. "Why didn't you tell me?" He rubbed his face. "Because I didn't know." That confused me even more. "What do you mean you didn't know?" Marcus looked up at me, guilt written all over his face. "The woman who just called disappeared years ago. I thought she moved away. And the child? She never told me she was pregnant." My hands trembled. "How old is she?" Marcus answered quietly. 10. 10 years. 10 years of a child growing somewhere in the world. And I had never known. And she's calling now, why? Marcus swallowed. "Because her mother died last week." The words hit like thunder. "And now," he said, "my daughter is coming to live with us." I stood there stunned. Everything about my life had just shifted. But the strangest part was something else. The pastor's words echoed in my mind. Someone here is living a lie. And the truth is about to come out. Marcus reached for my hand. "I know I should have told you earlier, but I didn't even know she existed." I looked into his eyes. For the first time in months, there were no walls there. Just honesty. Just fear. Just a man standing in the wreckage of a truth he never meant to hide. And in that moment, I realized something. The lie wasn't that Marcus had a daughter. The lie was believing our marriage couldn't survive the truth. 2 weeks later, a small girl stepped off a bus. She had a pink backpack and cautious eyes. Marcus knelt down in front of her. Neither of them spoke for a moment. Then she asked softly, "Are you my dad?" Marcus nodded and cried. That day something unexpected happened. Our marriage didn't break. It grew, because sometimes God doesn't expose the truth to destroy your life. Sometimes He exposes it to rebuild it. And every time I watched my husband help that little girl with her homework, I remember 3 moments. The moment he laughed in church, the moment the pastor spoke, and the moment the phone rang. Because that call didn't ruin our marriage. It revealed the family God had been preparing all along. If this story touched your heart, comment "God restores." And if you believe God still works in unexpected ways, don't forget to like the video and subscribe.